I first met Pete Meadows, Dave Payne and Geoff Shearn as a teenager. I was part of a little band, so we used to play Christian coffee bars. And this news sheet started to appear. This news sheet actually came from these guys who were trying to connect this phenomenon of coffee bar bands. I believe I'm right in saying that certainly Dave and Pete didn't come from Christian backgrounds, but they were very much just in the general culture, so they knew how to communicate. So they started to put on multimedia productions. In those days, that was really radical.
When I was about 14, I'd be going to these MGO concerts, and I'd see Larry Norman, Adrian Snell, Parchment, Graham Kendrick, and they were all MGO artists.
But in the background, there was a spiritual renewal movement happening in lots of churches. Little house churches were springing up. And in those little groups, we would sing these simple scripture choruses. Geoff Shearn was my record company guy. Somebody played him a tape of me singing some of my worship songs. He got very excited because he was already chasing down any these new songs were being written. One way or another, they persuaded me to do this album, and to my annoyance, it outsold all my singer-songwriter albums.
And that was Geoff. You know, he could see where someone should be and encourage them in a steering way, not in a gentle way. That this is the way I think you should go.
So from those very small beginnings, when Pete, Geoff and Dave started putting out that little broadsheet for the coffee bar bands, they formed a record company, Key Records, Buzz magazine, which has gone through various titles. It's still with us today as Christianity magazine. Premier Radio, and the very fact that we have Christian radio, Pete was very instrumental in that. Geoff, when he went with Kingsway Music, publishing obviously became an issue. Thank You Music was the publisher that was formed within that sort of family.
Dave, headed up Kingsway North America for a while, but he was like the deal maker, a sales guy. They were always looking to the future.
Towards the end of the 70s, Pete Meadows had turned Buzz magazine into probably the biggest youth-orientated magazine. And he got to know this guy, Clive Calver, and to cut a long story short, they conceived this idea of an event, and they called it Spring Harvest.
And then in '79, when Spring Harvest started, it was just absolutely mind-blowing.
Some would say that Spring Harvest was, in the 80s, the main way that brought the spiritual renewal that was happening in little pockets here, brought it to the mainstream churches. So much going on, a very creative time, but at its heart, you've got to have people like this who have got a vision and are willing to pay the price.
And in that season, they were the guys who broke through, and we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for them.
So guys, Pete, Dave, Geoff, massive congratulations on receiving this award. It is well deserved, and there are many who are grateful for what you did, and I'm one of them.
Thank you for everything you've imparted into my life, and thank you for all that you've forged ahead and made a way for me to walk in.
The way you pioneered to open the way to make things possible, which I could never achieve.
You left an incredible imprint of what was happening here in the Christian music scene now, and we are so grateful to you, being grateful to be part of that journey. God bless you, lots of love.